Hi, everybody. I'm Audrey Moore with Audrey Helps Actors, and this is
Dennice Cisneros. What?
Yay! Woo-woo! Today we are going to talk about going back home, facing your family, and the pressures that be. You guys, we reached 80 reviews. Yay! I'm so proud of us. It was really perfect timing because that's about what I had imagined. And as you know, Godless has come out. It is streaming, available on Netflix. It's a huge hit. I'm so excited. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. You're really going to love it. And I have so much to share with you guys for season 2. We're going to talk about so much of the things that's been my learning curve, the publicity, the stylist, how expensive all that stuff is, the return on your investment, what it's like to be a part of, a project of that size and caliber and see it sort of come out. And also the difference between that experience on Netflix versus an experience similar that would maybe be on network. Mm-hmm. I have so much to share with you. And so what we're going to do is this is like your episode to take you back home. And then in the new year, we have so many great episodes lined up. Our first episode back is going to be about pilot season. I have an actress. She's tested for 10 pilots. She's booked several. She's been the replacement. She's been replaced. She's had them go. She's had them not go. So she's going to tell us the whole scoop of what that really looks like and why she's been so successful in pilot season and what you can do to learn from it. We're going to talk about actor taxes. I know that's really big. We're going to talk about SAG, pension, and health. What the hell is a pension credit and how do I get it and why do I care? And what is up with our health insurance? What are the minimums now? How do I make it? What are some tricks to the trade? We're going to talk to agents. We're going to talk to entertainment lawyers. We're going to talk to network execs, managers, and also just some more actors who are looking to level up and some really great personal accounts. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for being excited and listening. We're going to release them weekly again starting in the new year. So Dennice, hi.
I'm so excited for the following episodes that you have coming out.
I am really excited. We've done 8 or 10 so far, and we just want a little lag time for editing and things like that. So Dennice, I have so many questions for you. So let's tell everybody how we know each other from. We took the Groundlings class together.
That was what, 3 years ago?
It was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
And it was you, me, and the notorious Brittany Young who was in that class together. I had already known you, though, from workshops. We had taken some workshops together at Act Now deceased, I think, RIP Act Now. And I always thought you were fantastic.
So did I.
Oh, thanks.
We did Jamie Harlan.
We did do Jamie Harlan together. That's right. Look at that memory you've got. And you always had a really interesting casting that I think is going more and more in your favor as the years progress, which I think is really great, both as you mature and also as casting is looking for more interesting faces and different looks. And I think that's going to be really powerful for you. If I was a rep looking to sign somebody, I would definitely be looking to sign you. Just FYI.
Thank you.
I think it'd be a really great investment in my future. Where are you in your career right now? Do you want to talk about agents, commercials, bookings, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, sure. I have a theatrical and commercial agent, different agencies. The last thing I booked was a commercial back in May or April.
Great.
For DiGiorno Pizza. And the last co-star that I booked, and it was my first, was in November.
Okay. So almost a year ago.
Yeah. A year ago for Young and the Restless.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Like an under 5?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Pretty much.
Excellent. Representation-wise, you have an agent, you have a manager, you have a separate commercial agent.
I have a separate commercial and theatrical agent,
Great.
And then I also have a manager as well.
And how many auditions would you say you're getting a month to every 6 months?
I'd say I get an audition once a week.
Oh, good. And is it one audition and then maybe the next week a callback and then the next
Pretty
week?
much.
Yeah.
You
go out once a week.
Yeah.
Whether it's an audition or a callback or something.
That's exactly
and
it.
Generally speaking, mostly commercial.
Mostly
and
commercials.
A couple of, right.
Yeah, theatrical will be maybe one
every few months, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So just so you know, you're really right on track. I know that what it feels like to you is like
really daunting and
like you're in the desert.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly
and like,
how I feel.
listen, I just want you to know, and for everyone else out there, that you are really right on track. And when I think of how long I've known you and the progression that you've had, you're in the correct direction and you're working really properly, if I can just sort of give you that confidence.
Thank you. Yeah, because I feel like, oh my gosh, it's hard not to compare yourself to like other people, but like they're going out so much more than I am. Am I not like doing enough? Or do I need to? I'm trying to figure out what do I need to do to get myself out there a little bit more.
I mean, the unfortunate answer is that a career is something that is built over time.
Yeah.
And as you just get more bookings, you get more footage. As you get more footage, you get better reps. As you get better reps, you get more auditions. You get more auditions. You get more bookings. You get better footage. But it sort of is like any process where the momentum building is rather slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it's like dead slow in the beginning, if you think of where you were like 5 years ago. And then it's like it's like working now.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely like it's happening, but it's not like happening. And just think of where you'll be in 5 years from now. And if you sort of know that the better it gets, that is true for the career as well. So that it sort of is like I tell people like a spiral, and you're sort of on the outsides of the spiral when you start. And then as you get further along your career, you're on the insides of the spiral, so it goes a little bit faster and gets a little bit more condensed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's kind of scary because I've been here for about 6 years, but I've been representing like for about 4 years. And so it's just, when you're younger and you imagine like your life kind of span out, like, okay, I'll probably be, especially with like my type and the way that I look, probably most of the peak of my career might be in like my late 20s, early to mid 30s, I'm thinking. And then, so it's just kind of like, I'm at that point now. And
well, what's really great about that is I understand that point of view. And I know a lot of you struggle with that point of view. I was always lucky in that I knew that like the older I got, the better it was going to get for me. I just have always sort of known that. And just because you haven't pictured yourself at 45 and what that casting will be for you, don't count yourself out for that. And that's something I really encourage you to start visualizing. Like, what might you look like in your late 30s, in your 40s? And what are those roles? And just know the market's going to change so completely differently by then too. Who knows what's going to be on trend, what's going to be popular? You really have to sort of enjoy the whole of this part of the ride of the career. So you and I had a discussion via the Facebook, and you posted, was it Instagram, Facebook, one of them? Okay, and tell them what you posted.
I posted pretty much just going back home and dreading the fact that my parents are always going to ask me, so when are you going to stop and come back and move home? It's that dreaded question. And then they ask me, well, how long are you going to, do this thing? Are you going to like give yourself so many years? Like, let us know. And it's just that agonizing fact of why I'm in LA, why it's really frustrating, and it's not a very healthy support system at all.
Well, we're going to talk about that because I know a lot of you listening really deal with this. We're going to talk about ways that you can arm yourself against that, and also how to set really proper boundaries with your family. So you put on Instagram, Audrey, please give us your podcast ASAP.
Yes.
I need some help and somebody to help me realize like I'm not just churning years of my life into the toilet by my parents, horror, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not, just so you know. And it is really hard for people who are not in the business to understand what progress really looks like when you're inside the business. Because like I said, you're actually working very properly and you're right on track. Now, there are very few people who really have that perspective, who can be of service to you in that reflection and let you know that that's true. And part of why I started this podcast is because it is really the people who are maybe just a few steps ahead of you who have the ability to sort of see where you are in your career, because partly the business changes so fast that people who've been successful for 10 years, they're in a totally different model of success when they got up than you are now. Yeah. And so it's really people who are just like a little notch or two ahead in the career. Who
that is really helpful, because I do think, or maybe I'm not good enough, or like the amount of auditions that I'm getting, maybe I'm not ratio-wise
your booking ratio is not as good as it.
That's what I'm thinking. And
we can talk all about that.
And yeah, but it does make me, and then it doesn't help with my parents. Yeah.
Giving you help. So let's talk about your relationship with your family. You're from Northern California?
Yes.
And tell me what, you have siblings?
I have an older sister.
And what does your older sister do for a living?
She's a fashion buyer for Saks in Manhattan.
Great. And how long after her graduate did she go to like FITM or something like that?
No, so she majored in international business.
Oh, cool.
And
how long after graduating in that did she sort of get this job and get going?
Pretty much immediately.
Yeah. So that's what's hard for your parents to not understand is like and it's just so you know, it's your job to educate them. Like when I first moved out here, my mom like just couldn't believe that I wasn't Katherine Heigl. Like she just didn't understand. She's like, but you're as beautiful as her and you're so great and blah, blah, blah. And what my mom just couldn't possibly understand or know. And really, I didn't know at that time that Katherine Heigl had already been out here for 10 years by the time I got out here. And so, yes, she was gorgeous and stunning and fabulous on all these shows, but
Wish upon a star.
Right. But Wish upon a star for real. But she had put in her time by far and away by that point. And you know, the people who have their Oscars at 24, they've all been here since they were 7.
Yeah, that's what I tell my parents that. And then, but they find that even more discouraging.
Right.
Yeah. And then I
totally
say, or if it's, because I say the people that are making it that are my age is because they started when they were really, really young.
Right.
Or they know people.
You know, they're like second generation or something like that. Right.
So but that even gives them more of a discouragement for them to be like,
why are you in this business? And what are you doing? Now, here's a really important question. Well, a couple. What do your parents do for a living?
My father's a contractor, and he buys homes. So he's also a landlord. He owns a number of properties. And my mom, she is a elementary
school
TA.
Teacher. Oh, good. Okay, great. And then the really important question, are they helping you out at all financially?
They are a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the big thing. Those of you who know that I used to study with Milton Katselas, this was a big thing for him because he would always deal in the holidays. This is the schedule, okay, you guys? This is what happens. October comes about and you all start fucking panicking. And you all start calling your agents. It's like this joke in the agency world where everybody starts getting phone calls from all their clients wanting to like sit down and have a chat and like reassess and like strategize. And it's because you're all looking at your final quarter and you're panicked and you have to go home and defend yourself. And you want somebody, preferably your agents, to make you feel special and like you're not wasting your life and that your time is valuable and that your talent is valuable. And so agents hate it, by the way, because they get swarmed by several of these phone calls. And then you go home for Thanksgiving, and then you have to go back home for Christmas and New Year's. And then you're usually so traumatized that then January, it takes you like 3 weeks just to like wipe yourself off the floor because you're so traumatized by all of that. So what Milton used to say is a few things as far as boundaries are concerned. I personally have always been very fortunate in that I have not depended upon my family for finances. And you could say fortunate or unfortunate. I've always worked lots of jobs. I made sure I worked at restaurants where I made really good money. And I, on a financial standpoint, never felt that I sort of owed them my time or presence. And so that makes my relationship with my family very clean in that sense. And I go home when it's convenient for me to go home. Now, luckily, I go home to work a lot as an actor, which is the best way to go home.
Yeah.
Also, I handle them, and I handle them based on how Milton used to teach us too. And so an example for that was my family wanted me to go on a Christmas cruise. This was like years ago, and I worked at a restaurant, and you can't leave for vacation when you work at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And particularly in Los Angeles, holiday vacation. And my grandmother and grandfather were very sad and upset about the fact that I was just like, I can't go. And I want you to know, my relationship with my grandmother it's just like, she was my best friend, like love her more than anything. Same with my grandfather. And I had to leave what was a really hard message. And I said, hey, Grandma, this is Audrey. I just want you to know that I know that you're really upset that I'm not able to make it to this Christmas vacation. So they're going to pay for the whole thing and all of it, right? And I said, but this is the career that I have chosen and the life path that I've chosen. And it's part of what makes me who I am. And I know that you love me very much. And part of what you really love about me is this person who is an actor. And it's part of what makes me the character and the life that I am in your life. So I can't do certain things like come home for the holidays.
Yeah.
But I will make it up to you by coming home and spending time with you on other days. And I hope that you really understand that, because this is the life I've chosen, and it's the person that I am, which is the person that you love. So that was it. It was that was as long as the message was. And I never heard about it again. And in fact, I did go on that vacation, but I only went for a 5-day stretch because it was a 10-day thing.
Oh, wow.
And when you're in retail or when you're in the restaurant, you can't take a 10-day vacation. You just can't. And so my grandparents, being the most wonderful people they are, actually got me to go on 5 days of it. And my coworkers covered those shifts for me, which was really lovely of them. And I flew out of a random island on Christmas Eve so that I could come back and be there at work. Yeah. And that was a communication that was very painful for me, because I want nothing more than to unconditionally love these people that have been beyond supportive to me.
Yeah.
And growing up had paid for, my singing lessons and my drama camps, and helped me pay for my acting college and all that sort of stuff. And so it's hard.
Yeah.
But what made it easier was the fact that I knew that what they love about me is the actor part of me. I mean, it's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And without that, I wouldn't be all that I am, which is the person that they love.
Yeah. No, my parents, it wasn't until really this year that I had help from them financially,
mm-hmm.
really, because I lived with someone else,
mm-hmm.
my ex.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just kind of see me as also being alone here in the city. And I don't know, they just kind of see me as a lost cause.
Yeah.
Pretty much the black sheep, and, oh, she's alone. We'll give her some help. But my dad's always, even when I never ask for money, but that's how he shows his love.
Right.
Because
my
my dad,
the same way. Uh-huh.
He's a workaholic. He works
Right.
every day,
Yep.
7 days a week.
My dad was in
6 or
landscaping, so I know the deal. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he wouldn't really spend that much time with us, but he would give us money. Okay, let me buy you something.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he shows
mm-hmm.
his love.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I didn't I don't want him to think that I'm ungrateful, but I don't want him to think that I just come home for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also.
Right.
But he's very insistent, no, let me just give you something. But because I've been single and living alone here, I think they just find it more of we'll help you with a little bit of rent and
mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So then that way it doesn't seem so daunting for you to live on your own.
And so you really have to handle it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you have to handle it. And just so you guys know, it's an uncomfortable conversation. But what Milton used to teach, which I am such a fan of, is you have to tell them that either I'm no longer going to be accepting your finances because I do feel that there is an expectation that comes along with that. Because when somebody is investing in you, they want to see the return on their investment. And just so you guys know, it's an interesting parental thing. And just, your parents aren't innocent in that either, because they want to keep a hand in the control also. So that's just a normal parent thing. They want to feel like they're involved. They want to feel like, you're still theirs, all that sort of stuff, which is like natural and nobody's a bad person. But they get something out of it too by giving you money, which is a little control, a little say-so in your life, a little ownership of you.
That totally makes sense. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you have to then make clear to them that either these finances or this assistance either comes with nothing but love and support, and they do not get the right to then take ownership or judgment or look for the return on their investment in your life, or they have to stop helping you.
Yeah.
And that's hard for a lot of you, because for a lot of you, you've been, helped. I know a lot of you are really helped a lot. I know a lot of you are having your parents pay for your rent entirely. And the idea for you, for a lot of you, of then going and getting a job where you're going to have to work really hard for too many hours, and it's a job that you feel is beneath you because you've been judgmental of people who've had those jobs. And for a lot of you, I'm not saying this is you, Dennice, but I know for a lot of you, there's this feeling of like, well, I'm an actor and I pursue acting, and I'd say covert, hidden pride about the fact that you don't have another job that allows you, at least in sort of a social setting, to be like, well, I'm an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an actor. I work on working as an actor. Versus the people who just don't have that help, who are doing that and also waiting tables 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Cost of that is then having your parents have a shitty attitude towards you and your career choice. So you are faced with a decision to either bear it and have that behavior from your parents be something that you just deal with because it's worth a financial investment into your life. And so what you're really paying for is, it comes with a cost, right?
Yeah.
So if your parents are giving you, we'll just say $1,000 a month for whatever, right? They're not, but let's say that that's what it was for everyone out there. So that $1,000 a month for any of you that's getting $1,000 a month, the cost of that is them then being able to feel like they have a hand in your life and your career. Mm-hmm. So you have to ask yourself, is that $12,000 a year worth that? Or can you earn $12,000 a year doing something else and release them from the control of your life? And just know they're not going to want you to, because again, they're not bad people. It's just the way it is. For a lot of them, it's a codependent relationship, mothers and fathers and children, and they want to have a hand in your life. And the way they do it is through finances for a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize how much it affected me. Like I broke down when they were getting on me, and then because I don't cry really, and I just felt so ashamed and felt really like they weren't proud of me, which is like the one thing that I don't ever want, because they put in a lot of pressure. Because I feel with kids that are, with their parents that are immigrants, there's like more of that pressure of like, you have to succeed, because we suffered so much for us to like come here so that our children can have a better life.
And part of that too, if I can just interrupt, is what Milton would call the charm and humor aspect of it. And there's another way that you can guard it also. I would say, first of all, do your parents know that you were having an emotional response to that?
Oh, they saw, and they apologized, which is very
good.
Big of them.
The other way that you can handle that is what he called charm and humor, which is that when they're giving you a hard time, say, I know that this is really hard for you right now to watch me be like this, but just think about how excited you're going to be when I'm really financially crushing it and I'm all over the TV, and just tell them examples of people that you know. Say, Mom, I've been in class. I was in groundlings class with these people, and this person is all over every billboard and that just takes one opportunity, just one. And the same for me. It's just one opportunity that comes at the right time that's right for you. And then suddenly they have something that they feel really proud about. And what I have experienced is those parents who are hard, then the moment you get like a touch of success, they're like the most beaming proud. And so with charm and humor, you can sort of tease them, I know it's really hard for you, but just know when I'm on all these billboards, and you can point to the billboards, it's like, you're going to be the most proud parents of all. And it may take a long time, longer than any of us expected, but I believe in me and you should too. Right?
Yeah, you're totally right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's handling it in a way that doesn't have to be confrontational, and it just lets them know. Because part of it too is they may feel a sadness from you, they may feel an insecurity from you, and they're worried about you, and so they're reflecting back to you what you're putting out.
Yeah,
right.
I could see that,
and so that's true for a lot of people. And I know that, like, with the exception of that one instance with my grandparents, my family doesn't give me shit. I don't get shit from anybody. And it's just because my point of view has always been really clear. Nobody is like, well, Audrey, like, I just worry about you, like, in your acting career. Like, I've never gotten that.
Really?
I have never gotten it. But that's because that comes from me.
Well, also my parents, they're very black and white. And they don't even know like anything with acting at all. Like my dad thought acting was like being a prostitute or a stripper.
That's common for an immigrant family too. Yeah.
And so like that was another conversation we had to talk about.
Like, I'm not a hooker.
Yeah. Exactly. But they just, and I understand that they want the best for me, but they are very like, you need to have a goal and we need to see you
the
accomplish
progress.
It. Yeah.
And part of what's hard about an acting career is it's an artist's life.
Yeah.
And just like I said, I can see your progress, but they don't know enough about the business to know what I know, to know that you're doing very well.
Well, thank you. And when they apologize, I don't break down, and I always just, I'm a very like internal person, but my mom and dad, they like came up to me and they were just like, you know what, we're really sorry. We're very business oriented. And if you asked us for help about with like a career, we would give you advice, but we have no idea what that life is. So it's not fair for us to, say that you're doing terrible or anything like that, because we don't know. We don't know. We can't give you advice on that.
And it feels helpless to watch people that you love be in pain. And so if you're going home for the holidays and you're dreading these conversations, then this is what I say to you. Handle with charm and humor is a great option for you to say, or empathy. Mom, I really appreciate that you guys are concerned for me. I get a little concerned for myself sometimes. But the truth is I've chosen this path and I'm dedicated to it. And it may take a while, but I'm working on it. And I actually have lots of reason to believe that I'm doing pretty well. And I may get insecure and all those things. And I know that it's just because you love me and you care for me, and it hurts you to see me be in struggle. But the artist's life has struggle in it. And it's part of what I love about it. There's a beauty to the struggle. Right?
Yeah, you're so poetic.
But if you communicate that to your parents, I mean, I would just love to see what anybody said to that, because it's when you can communicate out of an honesty, a vulnerability, a truth, an understanding for how they see you and why their behavior is the way that it is, without judgment, without hurt, but just like a real like, thank you for caring for me. I really appreciate you, and I'm taking care of me.
My parents are everything to me. And
Yes.
so that's why I never want them to be, I never want to
disappoint them
or be ashamed of like what I'm doing, them be disappointed in me. But because their feedback and matters in ways so heavily on me.
And that's part of that growing up separation that I want you guys to know about. It's big and it may require therapy for a lot of you. Like there is a hook that parent and child will have into each other for a while. And this sort of like parental approval that you're talking about, you're a grown woman now, Dennice.
Yeah, I know.
And it's a transition that a lot of people have to make, because even in your early 20s, you just still feel like a kid.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, you turn a corner and it's like, you're not a kid anymore. You're a grown adult woman who is very capable, who is hardworking, who is passionate, who's talented, and just like any grown adult person has ups and has downs in their life. And your parents are no longer responsible for you for that. They're just not.
Yeah.
And that's going to be hard for them. And it's going to be hard for you. But I have found in the uncoupling of my codependency upon that approval from my family that I found a tremendous freedom in my work.
Really?
And my bookings went way up. Because it's too much for you to take in the room. It's too much pressure. That 2-line co-star just cannot handle the pressure of please my family and their immigrant sacrifice. Can't do it.
So true.
It's so true. And that's what most of you are carrying into the room.
Yeah.
Some version of that. Some version of my parents came over. They sacrificed the world so that they could make money so that I could pursue my dreams. So I have to like kill my dream. I have to like crush it.
That's so true.
I know.
Yeah. No, I do have that need of wanting to approve that. Like, yeah, it's
impress them.
It's totally true.
Yeah. And you
subconsciously probably I do carry that in the room.
Yeah. Most actors do. Most actors become actors to please their parents. I mean, unfortunately, like it's a big part of it, right? It's a sense of identity that got some sort of pleasing of our parents from some point.
Yeah.
Not all of you, but a lot of you.
It's funny because when I went to my dad, nobody went to college, and let alone like my dad, he didn't finish elementary school. He went to 3rd grade, and that was it.
God, yeah.
And my mom went to 5th grade, and that was
Yeah.
it. So when we went to college, like that was a big deal for him. And I already knew what I wanted to be when I was like super young. And my dad's like, you know, I'm going to pay for your college.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to carry like the financial burden of paying loans, but I want you to pick a major that is not acting. You have, so
Do you see how it began already? It began already.
Yeah, you're right.
It began already. And it's only out of a good heart. It really is. They don't understand. I mean, I can say to you in particular, I have nothing but full faith in you. I do not look at you and see a girl who's like not going to be an actress her whole life.
Thank you, Audrey.
And if you're not an actress, I think it's because you evolve into writing, into directing, into all those sorts of things. Like this is very clearly for me the business for you. And it's just going to take you this step of independence, grown-upness, all of that is really going to help you find your voice, which I know is really important to you. And as you find your voice, that is going to be the thing that gets you more jobs and more jobs and more auditions, because people know what to do with you.
Yeah. No, I do need to have that inner confidence and not have to, I guess, please anybody, just yourself.
And, be realistic about it. I mean, for some of you, like people pleasing is a part of who you are. And so that's okay.
It totally is.
Right?
And I found that even in relationships.
Right. But that can be part of your voice. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not that you then have to apologize or feel bad about it. You can just like know, like, like a huge comedy routine could be like, I'm a people pleaser and here's all the way that I please people.
Yeah.
Right? But that's like an acknowledgement about a part of your personality that other people can identify with and can hone into, that is then part of your branding and also part of your voice and is part of what then makes you successful.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I've gotten better because I've always wanted to people please, but now I'm like, you know what? Not everyone's gonna like you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't like everyone, but you can treat them with respect.
That's right.
And who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? I'm all about who gives a fuck.
Yeah.
But obviously everyone knows I'm all about who gives a fuck. Okay, so let's recap for everyone listening. You're going home for the holidays. If you are getting money from your parents, know that that is a transaction that then comes with certain expectations. And you need to handle that. You either need to handle that by stop taking the money, or you need to tell them that that money can be given to you, but without expectation about the return on its investment. Or you just know that you're going to take that money and it's going to just kill you every Christmas. And I want to say, I recommend that if going home for the holidays turns you upside down, don't go home one year and then watch how they treat you.
Yeah.
Because I don't go home all the time. And when I'm home, they're always really happy to see me because I'm not coming home out of some like debt of family duty. I'm coming home because I want to see them.
Exactly.
And I love them and they're important to me. And that has value. But when you don't go home for a year, then it shows them you're an adult.
Damn, this is deep.
Just something to think about.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you guys not to go home for Christmas. I'm saying it's plausible that maybe you don't. And maybe you find a little bit of self-assertiveness and confidence in the choice to do that. There's a lot of people in LA who don't go home for the holidays, so you will not be alone. Find some friends, hang out. Any questions that you have for me?
Well, I have so many questions. Okay.
Okay.
Well, one,
Yes.
You know how you do the little, you go to your agents and some casting directors during the holidays and be like, oh, here's a little thing. Don't forget about me. Mm-hmm. How much do you think you should spend doing that?
I think that you should not spend very much unless they have booked you for something. And then I think you can spend a little bit more. And I think like for a lot of offices, I mean, I watched one commercial office. I sat there like the week of Christmas because I don't usually go home. And I had an audition or a callback. And I saw as she had presents floor to ceiling that actors had given her.
Oh my God.
And all of her assistants and her sat in a corner or around the office and they went present by present and gave it to all of anyone who wanted it. And she'd be like, $5 gift card to Coffee Bean. Who wants it? And somebody like me. And she'd like give it to them. And what to me that said is if you do the same thing that everyone else does, you might get lost. Mm-hmm. B, I did like the fact that, a lot of these people, they're not making very much money. They don't have time to shop for holidays. And so I recommend you give things that can be regifted. Mm-hmm. I recommend if it's somebody that you can do something nicer for, what is good about like a bottle of wine is then they can take it to a party because everyone has holiday parties that they have to go to. Don't give baked goods.
Don't.
I mean, if you do, they should be really special. I've given baked goods and had some good response from them, but it's because like I make literally the best sugar cookies anyone's ever eaten in their entire life.
I remember you brought some cookies
They're
in
like
class.
The best ever.
They're super cute too.
Yeah. And what I did was it was like when Star Wars first came out, the reiteration. Yeah. And so I made everyone like Star Wars, like little gift bags and like little Star Wars stickers and like little Star Wars mask and for some of them who had kids, it was like a little crayon pack with little Star Wars drawings.
Oh, that's smart.
Like a couple of these Star Wars cookies, which were super impressive. And I did. I booked like 2 jobs and got a ton of auditions from it. But it was very memorable and really wasn't even about the cookies. It was really about Star Wars.
And then personalization of it
and
too.
Personalization, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan and I knew a lot of them were too. And so it had like something about it. But if you're like just going to go grab some cookies and be like, here you go. Last year when I came back from Godless, I did, when I was in New Mexico, I got these little packets that are like New Mexico company of like guacamole seasoning and like a green chili cranberry sauce and things like that, but also not very expensive. like each pack, each like set that I gave every casting director was like, you know, $5 to $7 of like 2 little seasoned spices and like a little, you know, cranberry sauce or something like that, or like a pinon coffee or whatever. But that was also personal. It was about New Mexico, which I am not just from, but I had just filmed, and I was trying to say to them, hey, I just got back from shooting this series. So I was letting them know I just shot a series, and it's about the West in the Southwest, and here's some Southwest stuff for Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, yeah, and doesn't have to be so expensive, because you also have to spend money on like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I read a really good book right when I moved out here called like How to Act and Eat or something like that. And it basically said like, get ready to be spending all your money on headshots, all your money on audition clothes, and no money on presents, and no money on going out. And like, I hate to tell you guys, but think of yourself as in med school. Mm-hmm. Like, you're in med school right now. You're interning right now. You're a resident at like UCLA med school. You don't have the time and you don't have the money. But when you graduate from med school, when you get through these 10 years, it's very likely if you work hard in med school that you're going to have a career that pays off.
Yeah, all my money goes to acting. I don't go out to eat hardly or anything.
And that's part of why I have nothing but belief and faith that you are working properly and that you are going to have a continued career in this business. But, you know, I had one year, like, I gave everyone like a nice bar of chocolate. Like, I ordered it online. It was like each one was unique to the person, but each bar cost like $7. I gave that to everybody in my family. I was like, everybody gets a bar of chocolate. What do you guys get? I'm an actor, you know? And then I spent about the same amount on these casting directors and on all those people. If you were a therapist, right, and you had gone to school to be a therapist, you would graduate and still have to build your client list. And you'd have to spend money on advertising. You'd have to be your own accountant. But because it's being a therapist with the doctor in front of it, for some of them, for others, just a therapist, your family would really be supportive of that. Yeah, because you were building your business.
And that's what I try to say, because my parents see, they're like, where is all your money going to? And I'm like, well, classes.
But also, you know what? None of their business.
That's true.
It's really none of their business. It's just not. But it makes it their business if they're giving you money.
Yeah.
What I spend my money on is none of my family's business. And what they spend their money on is none of my business. It's just not. It's just not.
Damn.
Period. Right?
Yeah.
But if they're giving you money,
they feel more inclined
to understand where it's going.
Yeah.
Right? So did I answer your question about gifts? Like, don't spend a lot. Be very clear in who you're giving them to. Should be people who've seen you this last year, people who've booked you on jobs before, people that you're building a relationship with. Don't do more than 20.
That is so smart.
I'm so smart, you guys. I don't know if you know this, but I was voted best ideas in junior high school. That's real.
Oh, that totally makes sense.
Yes, it's true. A weird category, but real.
I know, I was going to say, that's weird.
It's creative for me, I'm sure. So, you know, think outside the box. Think what's actually helpful to them that also represents you and your personality. You're a really weird girl.
Oh, I know.
So you should be giving things that accentuate
weird and quirky.
That you're really fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, I'm aware of it.
I know you are. No, I love that you're aware of it. And so I think, like, you know, you have to start thinking about
branding and gifts
and all of that. If you just but some of you, fucking cupcakes and cookies are your branding, you know? One of my best friends, Fiona, she's out there. She's a cupcake and cookie kind of girl. And she bakes the shit out of things, and she is really good at it. But she's a little cupcake. So I think she should give cupcakes. Any other questions for me?
This is like a weird personal one, but my sister told me I wasn't living my full potential life if I wasn't a redhead.
Oh, I wouldn't go red.
No,
I mean, not for nothing. Your last name is Cisneros.
Yeah.
Don't you speak fluent Spanish?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would not go redhead.
No.
No, Cisneros is in, girl. It's in like
All right.
Flynn. And I would work it for us because it was not in 5 years ago. And so I would fucking work it as fast and as hard. And not only that, you have such a great look. Like you're weird, like Wednesday Addams, sort of like Mexican.
I get the Wednesday Addams.
I know. It's because it's real for you. Like you're like a weird Mexican Wednesday Addams, which is so great. Like who doesn't want to cast that? And I could put you as the like weird scientist girl in any 1 hour drama as a series regular. I'd put you in any comedy as like the girl who's just like weird and part of the office or part of the neighborhood, or you know, like you own like a lizard instead of a cat. Like it's weird stuff. Like it's so clear to me, your branding. And I think like be very careful, you guys, about taking career advice from people who have no fucking clue about what's happening in this business.
No, because my sister is very like visual, like fashion and beauty.
But see, she's in the fashion world, which is
different,
different than the casting world. I mean, I'm doing styling now, and it's a whole different world than the last 10 years. I've been spending my money on audition clothes, and now I'm spending my money on like Be Fabulous clothes, and it's a totally different thing.
Is this a Fabulous?
This is a Fabulous.
Yeah. It's really pretty.
Thanks, honey. Why acting?
I've tried so hard to fight it. I love telling stories and getting lost in like either being like a different version of myself or just I just love telling stories and playing and exploring different versions of myself, and I feel so free, and
that's great.
I love it so much.
Yeah, me too. What's the best part about the business for you?
Meeting people. And I'm actually I'm an introvert, but I've made such great friends and throughout this whole process, and especially living on my own now and really being solo, I just meeting everyone, not only like friends, but like casting directors, and like how they really do root for you.
Yeah,
you know,
they really do.
They do. They want you to succeed.
Yeah, very much.
But yeah, meeting all kinds of people and having a home really here away from another home.
A new home.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the worst part about the business for you?
The inconsistency just of, and also you kind of value your talent in the next job that you book. And
that's a very good way to put it.
Also like your worth.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just booked that job, now I feel valuable. I mean, a trick to that, you guys, that I had to start doing for myself is actually in how you view other people. Stop viewing others by how well they're doing or how poorly they're doing. And because when you stop doing that towards other people, you'll stop doing that towards yourself. Because I realized that anyone that I knew that was doing really well, I was like, man, they really got their shit figured out and they're so great. And like, I got to do whatever they're doing. And like, if they were working, I thought they were like a greater, bigger, better person. And that if they had had times when a stretch where they were not, I was like, well, you know, they're really like fucking up and they don't know what they're doing and they're just that. And all that really did is heighten that for me. Because you know that saying, you at one point, finger pointed towards someone else. There's 3 more pointed back at you.
Yeah.
And that really started to help me. So don't value those who are doing really well as doing better, as being better people. And don't undervalue those who are maybe having a hard stretch as not being valuable people.
That's interesting. I didn't think of seeing other people that also reflects on how you feel.
Very highly.
Because I just think of like me and
right.
But yeah, that I could see that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's very common for actors to look at people who are doing really well and think like they've got life figured out or some shit, and to judge people who aren't doing very well, and then that reflects back on you. What do you wish somebody had taught you or managed to get you to understand when you were just a wee babe?
That it takes time and that you're building a career. I wish it wasn't all about, because when you go to school, you take so many acting classes and it's all based on talent but really it's the business side, more of like connections and also how to make yourself as a business as well. It's really, I wish someone told me to really focus on the business side rather than just.
Well, the people teaching just don't even know what that means also. Like people who choose an artist's life are people who in general are not interested in business-oriented thinking anyway.
Yeah.
And so then the people who are teaching the artist's life are also not interested in that either. They become teachers, right? They become like art teachers. Like who is less interested in business than like an art teacher, right? Like nobody. Danny, who you guys will hear, my stylist, I'd interviewed her and we were talking about the expense of all of it. And she said, yeah, in a business, 30% of what you make should go to marketing. And I was like, God, that's such a simple rule that I've never heard before. And I do that, luckily, but I do that on accident. I mean, I just do that. But it's like, yeah, if you make a check for $1,000, $300 should go back into marketing. And so if you think like you book some job, you make $1,000, 100 of that goes to your agent, 100 goes to your manager, 100 goes to taxes, and then 300 of that should go to marketing. You've now made $400 off of that job.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking business, you need to book more of those jobs.
Yeah, no, I do that. Like, okay, so when I book something, I'm like, okay, I can pay for another, get my demo reel a little bit, like, spruce it up a little bit. Or, okay, I can now take another acting class in a way. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
Great. Very good. Mildly interesting.
Okay, so because this is like during the holiday season,
yes.
I love honey. It's the honey coupon, the online thing.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So it's a little coupon place that you can put it in. I'm so bad with technology.
Okay, good.
But like you can save it on your URL.
You can bookmark it.
Yes. Or something like that. Yeah.
Bookmark it.
And then whatever like website you do on your online shopping, they'll find coupons to make a huge discount. Like I bought, so because I had to go back home for my sister's wedding and Thanksgiving, I wanted to look all cute. So I was purchasing some stuff for like Rent the Runway, which is also really, really helpful.
Great.
And it was supposed to be over $100 and something, but from the honey, I clicked the little button and it was $30.
Oh my God. So tell everybody what the website is.
It's honey.
Honey.com?
Honey.com, I think. Or honey coupon.
Oh, good. Honeycoupon.com.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
No, yeah,
love it.
And it's not even like super huge. Like, yeah, you'll find discounts for like Macy's and like huge companies, but even
the smaller stuff.
Yeah. They'll find stuff for you.
I love that.
Yeah.
My mildly interesting, I have two, you guys. It's cold season. I'm going to tell you about Dristan cold. You guys might remember Dristan from the days gone by. They stopped selling it in the United States. The only way that you can get it is on Amazon by purchasing it basically from some like random like European, okay? But it's the only stuff that works. I promise you. And Jesse and I got sick. We take it and like we can actually function. And I know because I asked my mom, and my mom knows everything about being sick. And I was like, Mom, what is the deal with a cold? And she was like, the only thing that works is Dristan cold. And I was like, well, where do I get it? And she said, well, you have to get it online because they don't sell it in the United States.
Wait, what is it?
It's a particular kind of nasal decongestion and acetaminophen. And you can actually get the kind of nasal decongestant like formula as a knockoff at Rite Aid and then pair it with like a Tylenol. But I found that the Dristan is the best way to go. But what's great is that you get it and you get like a ton for like nothing. You order it online and then you have it all year. And I get so much, I just like hand it out. Like I just took some to my publicist yesterday because she's sick. And I'm just like, are you sick? Do you have a cold? Have a box of Dristan. Have some Dristan. And everyone's like, yay, it works. So I'm here to tell you, Dristan Gold. Also, number 2, you guys, Paul Mitchell Spray Wax. Can we have a moment? Oh my God.
Yeah.
My hair and makeup person in LA, Teresa Baca, I went and got her to do my stuff for the AfterBuzz TV Project Your Own Way after show that I did. And I like a funky do, you guys, because I'm so Cabbage Patchy that I like to funk it up a little bit. So she always puts this stuff in my hair, and it's just like great because it's not heavy, but it like makes it like piecey and choppy and chunky and cool. And I was like, what do you use? And she said, Paul Mitchell Spray Wax. So I got it. We use it on the carpet for Godless. I'm wearing it today. It's so great. You put it in dry hair before you style it, and it's like magic.
Is that your natural hair texture?
No, I put a little wave in, but it looks like it could be because of Paul Mitchell Spray Wax. Well, thank you.
Right here.
Oh, yes, that's right. Well, thank you so much, Dennice. I so appreciate you coming. Was that helpful and clarifying to you?
Oh, totally. And thank you for having me.
Of course, you got it. All right, you guys, I will see you again in January in the new year. New episodes coming weekly to a new year near you. Thanks, guys. And don't forget your towel.